McLaren's Lando Norris has surprised many this season by being the only driver to score points in all the races so far and for being able to outperform teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Norris has now spoken to NOS and explained why he still isn't satisfied. I'm your host Dillon Shelley, and first up on Formula World, the fact that Lando Norris has to accept. Norris started off by explaining why his point-scoring streak this season is no coincidence. It is no coincidence that I am the only driver this season to have scored World Championship points in all races. We fought for that. It may be a boring answer, but this sport is all about hard work. I think I can do this. I have performed almost optimally this season. I am happy with that, but I want more. F1 drivers are demanding. I am constantly growing and learning, and I expect the same from my team. He was then asked about being the best of the rest behind Mercedes and Red Bull. He responded by saying, "I have to accept it as a fact. They are too fast and the gap is huge. Of course, that is difficult. Being happy with a 5th place is not in me. Being lapped by the leader and finishing half a lap behind number 4 is not something we get excited about." He further elaborated on how he enjoys occasionally beating these cars in qualifying. "That's why I enjoy the scarce moments. For example, when I beat one of the top teams in qualifying, and I've succeeded a few times. Beating a driver from Mercedes or Red Bull on Saturday gives a kick, but I immediately realised that I can hardly defend that position in the race." He signed off by explaining how in races he cannot match the drivers from Mercedes and Red Bull and why that is a tough pill to swallow. "Then I drive third and I know, in a few laps they will fly past again. That's hard to swallow. I know I can battle with them, but not with my current car. In a Red Bull I can beat Max and Sergio. In a Mercedes I can drive the pace of Lewis and Valtteri. That's how I have to think." Fast feed. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has revealed that when Max was unable to respond on the team radio, time stood still. In that moment, you forget everything else apart from the safety of the driver, a person who is like family to all of them, and it reminds you of the risk and reward in the sport. Haas team principal Gunther Steiner has confirmed that there are a few things which need to be sorted out with regards to Mick Schumacher's contract for next year. It's a 3-way contract, obviously, because he's got one with Ferrari. There needs to be a few T's crossed and a few I's dotted, and then they will get there. He added that Mick is not trying to say he's not signed, but there are agreements in place. Max Verstappen thinks that F1 is still a long way from IndyCar, so that's okay when asked about the cars for next year. They will see in the next few years, of course, which way they go, what is allowed and what is not allowed. But at the moment, there is no point in criticising it. They'll just have to see how it all turns out, Max surmised. Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto feels that they need a bit longer to digest sprint qualifying. There are things that could certainly be improved, like what could be done for Saturday morning. He also thinks that the numbers from the TV audience will be important. You can't have a final judgment right now. You need to wait for 2 more opportunities to have a better picture. McLaren team principal Andreas Seidel added that it is good they have these trials now this year for 3 weekends. It is a good idea to only use it for specific event and tracks for a different format. He doesn't see it as being the standard for all weekends. The sprint race in the end gave a good picture of where everyone has been in terms of race pace. However, there were no big surprises and big learnings from the sprint race that changed anything for the race. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff feels that they have halved the gap on Red Bull in terms of performance, and they just have to mobilise everything in their arsenal of weapons. That is what Lewis is doing as a driver and they as a team. There will be harder ones, there will be better ones, but scoring the number of points like in Silverstone is important. Retired world champion Nico Rosberg feels that the driver situation at Mercedes for next year is a tricky one because Valtteri Bottas is doing well and basically deserves to stay. And at the same time, Russell is a rising star who is performing incredibly well in a car that shouldn't be in Q3 all the time. Who should Mercedes sign as their second driver for next year? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.